Good morning. I'm actually expecting that probably nobody is going to, so I did show up. I'm expecting that nobody's going to show up, but I shouldn't even ask them to be here. Because it is and Michael, oh wow, you're committed, Michael. Good for you. That is the first day of 2018, and it is 15 degrees outside. Yeah, it is cold here in Texas, and I'm sure that it's cold in many other places. People sitting on an island right now, or those people that are on a plane going to an island like my son-in-law. So, good morning, happy 2018 to everybody. I'm not going to hum-ha around this morning because I don't think that my voice is going to really let me, because I am all caught up in here and got this raspiness going on. Can you guys hear me okay? For a couple of you that's awake and crazy on the 1st of 2018. Just give me a thumbs up. Oh, thank you. Okay, good. Making sure. I was checking the volume earlier. Yeah, Happy New Year's. Happy New Year's. I hope that. Oh, goodness, and Amy's here too. And it's a party. And so we could do community brunches this way. World community. That's what conscious coffee is, right? World community. So I hope that everybody had a fantastic evening last night and got to ring in the new year, or as close to the new year as you can. Make sure that my son-in-law was in a lift, because I wasn't driving, and yes, there were lifts in my neighborhood, and he was picked up in under 11 minutes and got his happy little butt off to Maui. So woo-hoo for him. And you know, it's going to be a humongous change for him to be in Maui. And both of my daughters are over there, and it's this humongous change. And then there's a change on this side of having soon to be 4 children, 2 of my own and 2 adoptive, you might as well say, gone. So 4 out of 9 kids gone. That's such a humongous shift. I can't call on my baby girls to go to lunch, to go do girls' day or anything like that. I gotta fly to Hawaii to do that now. So very lots of changes. And 2018, I think, is going to be a year of massive growth and change for a lot of people. Every year is, but is it a positive change, a negative change? It's all positive. It's all moving us in the direction that we're supposed to go. Some of it is just very uncomfortable, much like change always is. It's uncomfortable. Oh, I'm thinking, Michael. And the reason why, I don't know if you guys can see the title that I titled this or not. I don't know what it looks like from the other side. But I titled this talk, You Can't Make an Omelet Without Breaking Eggs. So I thought, that's what we're doing this morning. We're breaking eggs. You can't make an omelet, though, without breaking eggs. And what better day to really discuss change than to discuss change on the first day of the new year. And last month we discussed so many manifestation things, so many things like that. And this, over the course of 2018, what I want to do is since I've decided that conscious coffee is just going to become part of my practice, my daily practice, well, most days practice, part of my spiritual practice, part of my sharing practice, coaching practice, I decided that I'm going to kind of consciously bring about a lot of different topics. Everything's going to have a spiritual infusement to it, but it's not going to only be on manifestation. So a lot of the different things I'm launching, like masterminds and programs, are changing. And my focus is going to come off of sex in 2018. Sex is going to be a piece of the puzzle, but it's not going to be the highlighted piece. Actually, creation work will be the highlighted piece. So the abundance, the fuck yes life, which is really true Tantra. Addison and I were talking about this yesterday. I said, I'm not really going away from anything. I'm not actually really stepping into it, because Tantra, the word Tantra means to weave together. So to really bring everything together and to experience all of life the way you want to experience, and to be an active participant in your life. That conscious creator is really what Tantra is about. We have somebody else. Hey, welcome to the group. Yes, prosperous, definitely. So when I was looking at that, my whole goal is that I try to bring to the table for you guys, as well as myself every day, that committed focus on basics of what we really have to stick to, whether we are wanting better relationships, more money, a bigger house, a better spiritual life, better health, what better parenting skills, whatever it is. There's so many things to want, to desire. We are desire-based creatures. It's just the way God created us. But in our desire, we have to be willing to break eggs, because we are always wanting to make these omelets, it seems. So if we want to make an omelet, we break an egg, or 2 or 3. We have to be, at one point, I'm going to figure out how to change this on my phone so that it doesn't do this every morning. I don't have to pause and swish it to the side. Okay. I'll try to figure that out later today. But we have to break the eggs, which means that we have to be willing to make changes, some small, some drastic. And those basic principles, whether it is change or it is something that we don't think is change, most things are though, it all comes back to 4 basic things, which is having the desire, having the belief, being able to be the witness to what is going on in our heads and in our hearts. So being the witness, and then making a new choice. Always choosing what we want to choose, even if we've already made the unconscious decision to choose something else. Becoming the witness allows us the opportunity to make a different choice. So, desire, belief, witness, new choice. Plain and simple. There you have Conscious Coffee conversations throughout the year, what we're going to be focusing on, but it's all going to come back to those 4 basic principles. Much like anything, it's always the simple shit that makes the biggest changes. So, and all of that is so simple and yet so difficult. So when we're changing, if we think we're done changing, because I know a lot of people are like, oh, I'm just done with all this changing. I'm done with all this transformation work. I'm done with life just being chaotic and constantly throwing me a curveball. Well, if you're done, then you better be digging a hole, because you're going 6 foot under, because you're basically through. You're done with life. You're not going to really be able to step in and have the life that you want if you're not willing to change. Good morning, Patrick. Happy New Year. Most people fail in life because they're unwilling to make changes. And change will occur no matter what. It'll be that soft change, kind of like the river beating on the river rocks, and it takes a lot of time. And some people just don't notice that they're changing, but they get to, like later on in life, and I better drink more coffee this morning. There we go. They get later on in life and then they're like, how did this happen? I still feel 16. I still feel 20. I'm still thinking like that. And they've taken their minds off of the present moment so much that they've basically lost all of life. And it's not that I believe that, I still feel 16, I still feel 20 in a lot of ways. I look back to being 16 and a lot of my thinking is still the same, my beliefs. The things I was introduced to, I'm now coaching on. It's like, wow, I actually knew a lot when I was 16. I was scared to death, though, back then, to live it. I might have thought I knew about it, but I was scared to act. And much like every other 20-something out there, 20s were all about worried about what other people thought. But stepping a little bit more into self and allowing self to emerge the way I needed to in different ways. And then in 30s, I basically threw in the towel and said, fuck it, and went and did what I wanted to do. And lived a life, started living the life according to my rules versus everybody else's. And in my 40s, I sit here and I go, kind of saying fuck it and fuck the world, it's not necessarily the best way to travel, at least for the next 10 years probably. In my current state of being, I'm not willing to just say fuck it to everything. There are certain things that I'm willing to make change for, willing to, the fuck it 30s, yes, Hudson, the fuck it 30s. And so, in my 40s though, I'm realizing that what I personally need, and I don't know anybody else out there in their 40s, let me know if this is how you feel. But it's kind of like, there's a certain amount of confidence, you know who you are, you know what you want, you know what doesn't work. You may not still know what fully works, but you definitely got a better grip on it. And you're more willing to explore and go out and let yourself be revealed, because you also feel the time clock of life, the precious thing of life on your shoulders. So you go, okay, I don't have 1,000 years to figure this out. I don't have all of eternity here. Not in this physical body, that is. I don't have all of eternity in this physical body. And there are things that I want to experience now. So you're actually more willing in your 40s to listen, to pay attention, to become conscious, to make, and not just become conscious, but to actually take action toward an even more conscious state and explore deeper levels of self, deeper levels of revealing yourself. And what I've seen, because I've coached many people in their 50s and their 60s, actually probably the majority of my clientele is, through the years have been mid-40s to mid-60s. And what I noticed for men and women in that 20-year bracket is that the people who step in and really do the work and allow change to happen and follow the guidance that their spirit is giving them and truly listen to it, that their 50s, their 60s, and I'm sure that their 70s and their 80s so much better. They do not become these grumpy, old, pissed off people. They actually are out there living life, and they go and they find this beautiful path, and they're constantly embracing life versus letting life overrun them. So change is going to happen to all of us. We can't avoid it. But is it going to be conscious change, or is it going to be unconscious change? Are we going to allow the river of life to just wash over us and slowly change us through our years until we wake up one morning in our golden years and go, who the fuck am I? I didn't ask for this. Or do we take change by the horns and say, okay, Lord, work through me, guide me, direct me. I don't know what's best, but I'm willing to step out there onto that raggedy edge like I was talking about yesterday, I think it was, or the day before. And just really embrace the things that I need to embrace to move forward, to grow. So Change happens to all of us. Those who are unwilling to change are the ones who normally become very unsuccessful in life. I'm not talking about money here. I'm talking about just unsuccessful in life. That might be money. That might be love. That might be health. That might be some combination. It might be a shitty spiritual life. It might be, who knows? To each their own on success, right? Success is in the eye of the beholder, much like beauty. But the fact is that correction and change always results in fruit. So we always bear fruit if we're willing to consciously change, if we're willing to consciously make corrections along our path, if we're consciously willing to stop and look at the forks in the road, to look at the doorways, and to really just allow ourselves to listen to our core, to our spirit, to our GPS system, to that connection to something higher than, more, really be more consciously aware of all of those things, which comes back to what? Being the witness, having the desire to change, the desire to grow, the desire to have something more in all these different areas, and having the belief. And here's where a lot of people, I would say probably the majority of the time, is what really kills us, is our belief. Our belief gets eaten up by ego so often. But if we can have the belief and keep our focus on what we want, and that means listening to where our thoughts are at, which means listening to where our feelings are at, coming back to how do you feel? How do you feel? How do you feel? If you're feeling like crap, that means you're thinking all the wrong thoughts. That means you're thinking about not having what you want instead of having what you want. You might be thinking that you are thinking about what you want, but are you really? Are you really thinking about what you want? Or are you more thinking about not having what you want? Your feelings will tell you. Negative feelings tell you that you're thinking about not having it. Positive feelings are telling you that you are in alignment to it because you are thinking about having it. So, I have a quote. He that will not apply new remedies must expect new evils. And that is from Francis Bacon. So, he that will not apply new remedies must expect new evils. It's all about change. If you want to have all the things that you desire for 2018, then you have to be willing to apply new remedies to it. You have to be willing to get out of your box. You have to get out of that comfort zone. You have to step out of the comfort zone so that the miracles can happen. The miracles are only going to happen outside of the comfort zone. That's the only place they're going to happen. As long as you're sitting there and you feel comfortable. And here's the thing. There's so many times, and I can probably hear people thinking this right now, but I'm not comfortable. Not being successful is not comfortable. Not being healthy is not, I'm not comfortable right now. I mean, I've got this freaking cold. And it's cold outside. And that means it's a little chill in the house. And I'm not in exactly 100% where I want to be in life. But guess what? I'm never going to be 100% where I want to be in life. I'm going to keep myself in that uncomfort. But if you look back at the last 5 years of your life, or the last 2 years of your life, or more, go 2, 5, 10, 20, however many you need. And if you only see the river changing you, and you're sitting there and you're struggling in whatever department you want to pick on, because it's different for each one of us. And you're like, but it's not comfortable. It's not comfortable to have a crappy relationship. It's not comfortable to be living paycheck to paycheck. It's not comfortable to be living with this ailment that I have. It's not comfortable to, you see where I'm going here? All these different things that we have, these challenges that we have in life. The only one stopping you from any of that is yourself, because that discomfort, there's a reason why you're choosing to stay in it. There's a reason why you're choosing to sit in it. There's a reason why you're choosing to consistently let it show up in your life, to consistently wake up to it every single morning and say, good morning challenges, good morning suffering. I love the suffering. And I asked a lot of clients this, how's that serving you? How is that serving you? How is that suffering serving you? How is playing small serving you? And a lot of the time I was like, well, it's not. It's not. Well, then why are you still doing it? If it's not serving you, why are you still doing it? Well, because I can't, and here come the excuses. The excuses are all blah, 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 blah. Yeah, it validates our crappy thinking. It does. It validates our crappy thinking that we support with excuses and we support with victim mode. And when I say victim mode, I know that I piss a lot of people off, but we're all victims. We're all victims born of victims, and we're all fucking up all the time. And we've learned a lot of different stuff. I was talking to somebody yesterday, and they were sharing with me that they had a lot of news in their life as a child. The news station was on all the time. But the news, if we look at the news, what does the news have on it? The news has on it a lot of negativity. It is basically all negativity or drama. When we look at all the different things that we are programming into our mind, subconscious wise, when we choose to watch the news constantly, what the realization I had yesterday was like, wow. Because I thought back to my childhood and I thought, my parents watched a lot of news too. I think that the majority of us adults probably grew up in households where the 6 o'clock news, 6 a.m. news, the 6 o'clock news, the 11 o'clock news was pretty popular. Our parents all watched the news. The news watcher, I'm sorry, you're not going to like this next statement. But the news programs us to think negatively. The news supports fear. The news supports limited beliefs. The news supports all this. It is a control device. The news is there to basically keep us hooked up to the lines of fear. And when I was talking to this friend and they were sharing about all the news that was in their life, I thought, oh, I bet some of my programs, and their programs too, and for the most part, most of us, that our programs came from the subliminal messages that were being shared to us while we played our toys on the living room floor. And news was going on and on and on about this murder and this thing happening and that thing happening and all this negative, 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 negative. If you look back just over the last 20 years, how much negative news we've had. And here's the thing, the news is always negative. I don't care if you go back to 1923. Look at all the negative events that happened between today and 1923. Imagine somebody who has watched the news consistently over that 100-year cycle, consciously or unconsciously, as a baby that was playing in the living room, and then a small child that was playing with toys, all the way up into, teen years and then adult years. And it's almost like, what, you don't watch the news? Well, but you're not going to know what's going on in the world. Here's the thing, the big things you hear about no matter what. Just like, does the price of gas really mean anything? Can any one of us change the price of gas? We can't. So why bother even worrying about it? Why put any energy on the freaking price of gas? You need gas, you buy gas. There you go. End of story. Don't worry about if it's 20 cents more, a dollar less, or anything. You can't change it. So don't put energy on it. Focus on what you can change, which is yourself. There, that's it. There's God's business, there's your business, and there's my business. There's only one of those that you can control. All of us do tend to try to go out there and control all this other stuff. And in that, we're trying to avoid change. I have a couple extra people popping in. I'm shocked. It's January 1st, the day after all the parties. I'm honored that you guys are all popping in saying hi here now. It's great. So, hey, my voice is hanging out too. I'm giving my voice a little saliva here, trying to calm my throat down before I go on my next preaching adventure. Oh, so I made, as you know, I always have like 2-3 quotes. Change is always hardest for the man who is in a rut, for he has scaled down his living to that which he can handle comfortably, and welcomes no change or challenge that would lift him up. That is from C. Neil Strait. Change is always hardest to the man who is in a rut, because he scaled down his living to that which he can handle, to that which is comfortable. And there's the real true culprit of what change does, right? Change pushes us to be more than we are today. Hi, Michelle. Thank you for joining us. I don't know, the news very challenging for something. Yeah. See, the news burns us out. That's true. It's true. The news definitely burns us out. It's because it drags our energy down. It's because it brings us down into lower vibrations. It lowers our frequency, and when we lower our frequency, we can't manifest, we can't create the life that we want, which is the ultimate purpose behind such things as the news, is because it keeps us in that lower vibration. It keeps us in the comfortable status of suffering and believing that it is just the way it is, that this is life. And then every now and then you see people out there who are living these incredible lives and are living according to their own rules. They have the fuck yes life. And they're out there and they're blowing and they're going and they're doing and they're living and they're happy and they're joyous and you're like, oh, they're so lucky. How do you feel about New Year's resolution and changes? That's going to be in just a little bit. I'm working towards it. I got a couple more minutes. But they're not lucky. They are because they believe that they're lucky. They're lucky because they made a decision to be lucky. They're lucky because they make their own luck with the thoughts they're thinking and the feelings that they're having and focusing in on that GPS system of the self, of our core that is our connecting line to God, the universe, whatever you want to call it, that divine spirit within. As my daughter, my 14-year-old, was proclaiming the other day, I am a child of God. I am a child of God. Yes, we all are children of God. So claim it. Claim it. So, how do you feel about New Year's resolutions and changes? I think that for the most part, New Year's resolutions is a bunch of bullshit. You know why? Because you get a whole bunch of hype and everybody wants to go in and everybody wants to do it in the month of January. And nobody has learned how to actually make sticking changes. So everybody goes out and they go, and like this week, there will be more people in yoga studios, gyms, signing up for different fitness programs in like the next 3 days. Everybody's going to go out and get a membership. They're all going to go get a membership to some place. Shit, I even looked at like the yoga studio down the street. I was like, this is the time of year to like buy that initial membership and be able to save and be able to change yoga and everything. And it might be a smart idea. And I was like, oh. Last year I made the mistake of going to yoga class a couple times in early January. It was miserable. The room was so packed full of people, and it was just, and everybody was making all this noise, and they were just there for their New Year's resolution. They weren't really there for the change. They were there to say, I made a resolution, and I'm going to stick to it until I burn out. Now, the people that really truly want change will do a little bit different path. The people who really truly want change probably already started it, or at least are going, okay, what do I really need? And they have a support system, whether that is a friend, your spouse, a partner, a coach, something out there. They have some sort of support. But it's not even about a resolution, because you can resolve to do something. How long are you going to resolve to do it? Anytime you take something away from yourself, you crave it even more. So it makes it even harder. There's different things to changes. You can go out, and I think resolutions are more focused on action based, taking all this action. And if you try to take a whole bunch of action without dealing with the changes that need to happen internally first, the action will fall to the side. It's basically like trying to throw good money after bad money. It's not going to happen. It's going to be bad is what's going to happen. It's not a positive thing to do. So if you're on boat to make change, on the boat of making resolutions and making changes, make the change of becoming more conscious. Make the change of committing to yourself, and get somebody else to support you, or just say, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, but really focus in on making the changes, of focusing in on your thoughts and your feelings, because action is maybe 5% of the gig. It's not even a big deal. The action that you need to take will naturally come about if you are having the correct thought and feeling. And the things that you need to act on will happen, and it'll be joyous. It'll be fun. You'll want to do it. When was the last time you were motivated to do something that you didn't want to do? Did it really matter what time of the year it was? If you had a resolution, if you had made a commitment, or you spent a shitload of money to get it done? I mean, it doesn't even matter. I've had clients come to me and spend $10,000 before, and then I see them for 2 hours, and then they fall off the face of the planet. And I'm like, you just spent 10 grand. You're basically handing me 10 grand for 2 hours of my life to share with you, and because you got a little uncomfortable, you're now gone. I've had that happen a few times, and I just go, wow, like, thank you for the bonus check for the year, I guess. It would appear that if you put in a lot of money, or if you do certain things, that you would be more motivated to act and to do things. And yes, typically when we put money where our mouth is, we're more likely to do that. We're more likely to stick in the game of change if we actually have money invested in something. But even the greatest amount of money, when we come up against a humongous resistance block, will not keep us motivated if we are that resistant to change. If we are that resistant to change, we will say, fuck the money, I don't care. You know what? It's already water under the bridge. I've already gotten used to not having that money there, so I cannot do that. I cannot push up against that. That's too uncomfortable. Yeah. It's really, truly sometimes too uncomfortable to make certain changes, because we're not mentally, emotionally ready for the change. And that's where you have to get. So, the other day I posted, what is her name? Mel Robinson, I think, the 5-second rule. I posted an interview on a couple days back from her underneath one of the conscious coffees. And she has this whole comment about basically, like, I love Arthur James Ray because he says balance is bullshit, and I'm totally on board with that, because I don't believe that balance is, we can't really balance anything. We need to focus more in on harmony, because our life is always moving like this. We're never ever like this. So balance is bullshit, but guess what else is bullshit? Motivation. Motivation is bullshit. Trying to motivate yourself to do something that you don't really want to do has never worked for anybody, not long term, which is why January resolutions, New Year resolutions don't work for 99.999% of the population. The resolutions that will work for you are the resolutions that are supported by your true desires with a strong level of belief. So if your desire is strong enough and your belief is strong enough that you can actually have your desires, then those resolutions will manifest. Those resolutions will come about with right thinking and feeling. But that means that the true resolution comes back to your thoughts and your feelings, not that. I don't know if that answers your question, Addison, on how do I feel about New Year's resolutions and changes. I think that change happens all year, not just in January. I think that change is initiated all year, not just in January. I think that it is popular, and I mean popular like high school popular. I'm part of the popular crowd. I make resolutions. Yeah. Are you part of the popular crowd that makes resolutions? Or are you part of the successful crowd that just lives in change and is consistently pushing themselves in conscious choice every single day of their life to move forward and to live the best life that they can live? Whether it is January 1st or December 31st or June 13th. Doesn't matter what day of the year. The changes are right there with you. So, thank you, Addison. Thank you. Desire determines destination. Attitude accentuates action. Confidence creates change. Yes, yes. Desire, attitude, and confidence. And confidence is probably one of the key factors that can prevent us from having what we want there, because so many people are not confident on the front side of change. Matter of fact, we're scared to death. And we have to focus. That's where, if you want to make significant change, this is where your thoughts and your feelings come into alignment with it, when you have to get them into alignment with the desire. So if you say that you want, I don't know, let's say you want to go from making $40,000 a year to making $100,000 a year. But when I say to you, oh, you're going to go and you're going to make $10,000 a month this month, what comes up inside of you? So if you're making $40,000 a year, and I tell you that you're going to make $10,000 this month, that's a quarter of your income in 1 month. I go, oh, that sounds exciting. I really want that. And then there's this like little piece of you somewhere inside that's just like this, like, ugh. It almost makes you sick. Almost might make you sick. Almost might make you go, I don't think I can. I don't think I'm that. I'm worthy of that. How's that going to happen? And all of a sudden, all the hows want to pop in, and you want to know how this is going to happen, when it's going to happen. And the baseball bat of reality pops in and says, you don't have the education, you don't have the understanding, you don't have the this, you don't have the that. All the negative thinking comes in. And you'll notice that you can be thinking, I'm going to make $100,000 this year. I'm going to make $100,000 this year. And you can do all this different stuff. But if you're really not in alignment to it, then your feeling around it is going to be one that is just tinged with a little negativity and upset, irritation, frustration, sickness, illness, feelings like nausea and tightness in the chest and all this different stuff that's telling you that you're not in alignment to 100,000. But what if you, instead of thinking of 100,000, what if you stepped back that scale a little bit and said, all right, this year I make 40,000 and I want to increase my income by 20%. I want to increase my cash flow into my house by 20% or 25%, So what if you, or just pick a smaller number, what if you said, I'm going to make 55,000, I'm going to make 60,000 this year instead? Can you get on board with that a little bit better? Does that feel like a lighter load? Can you actually believe, hey, I can step to that? And with the smaller successes that build the confidence, so that supports the desire, and the attitude will be able to, you're still going to have some attitude changes, which is belief, but you're going to be able to get that more into alignment quicker than if you try to sell yourself the castle in the sky when you're living under the bridge. It's not going to work. it won't work. Not for the majority of people. There's very, very, I mean, it's like 0.00001% of the population that can sell themselves that kind of a humongous difference in life surroundings and actually successfully have it. So when you're looking at confidence, realize that if you're feeling unconfident about something, it just means that two things. Number one, you need to question if you're fully in alignment, feeling and thinking wise, and maybe scale it back to where you can actually believe it, because without belief, well, belief is your superpower. Belief is your superpower, and if you don't have belief on your side, it's not going to happen. You might have the desire, but you got to have the belief. And then the other thing is that if you're not fully in alignment there, that confidence, that feeling right there is that you may not be fully in alignment to you. You need the small successes, but you also need to look at your value and how you value yourself, which self-value comes back to self-love. So scale back your vision just a little bit to something that is a little bit more comfortable, but still makes your heart flutter a little bit in a good way, where you get turned on, where you're smiling about it, you're excited, you go, oh my gosh, that's, God, I like, whoo, it's Christmas morning, as we were talking about in December. And then focus in on your self-love practices. Focus in on self-forgiveness, on self-love, and on standing in your power, which is your belief, which is your love for self. And those things will give you, like what Michael has here, desire, determines destination, attitude, accentuates action, and confidence creates change. Off to the coffee I go. So, and I will leave you guys with this final little quote that I snagged. Playing it safe is probably the most unsafe thing in the world. Playing it safe is probably the most unsafe thing in the world, which basically comes to that willingness to change, that little raggedy edge feeling inside, those butterflies. Not the feelings of it makes me sick, but the feelings of, ooh, I'm stepping out on the edge. I can feel the wind in my hair. I can feel the change right there. And it really turns me on. It really excites me. There's a sense of urgency with it. There's a sense of excitement with it. There's a ton of desire. But there's also belief. And if you can step right there and just take one more step, 2018 is going to be great. It's going to be fucking amazing. It will. It will. It will. Because as my 14-year-old daughter said, I am a child of God. So there you go. I'm a child of God. Quote from the 14-year-old. You might have more figured out than what I expected. And there's power in that statement. I am a child of God. I am deserving. I am valuable. I am worthy. I am lovable. Give yourself permission today. The only thing that I can tell you as far as a resolution, if you want to make a resolution, if you want to be part of the resolution popularity crowd, make the resolution to give yourself permission to live a fuck yes life in 2018 and to step into it at the pace that you need to step into it. Not at what anybody else on this fucking planet tells you to do. Just step into it. Be you. Be you. Be you. There's power in being you. And stop questioning what everybody else is doing. Just go be you. Okay? So with that, I love you guys. Go break some eggs. Go make your omelets. And I will catch you tomorrow at 6 a.m. And I will not be here Saturday and Sunday. So just making that note again. Saturdays and Sundays, unless stated otherwise, I'm going to take Saturdays and Sundays off, and major holidays. So like Thanksgiving and Christmas, although that might change when I get to Thanksgiving and Christmas. Who knows? I don't know what I'm going to be doing on Thanksgiving and Christmas. So I'll keep everybody posted as I move through. But I will see you guys tomorrow at 6 a.m. with whatever topic lands in my mind while I'm pouring my coffee. So I love you, and I will catch you tomorrow. Go have an amazing, amazing day and give yourself permission to be you. Bye.